Oh, Outlander fans. So, penultimate episode. I need to, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So much happened, and it was a really, honestly in my opinion, it was a really good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think a lot of characters got more time to shine in this episode. We did not see Jamie and Claire too much. They got a tiny little montage in there, but overall, I honestly think the episode was well done even in their absence. Because you know how... Oh, what was the episode? The one where Bree comes back to the 18th century and she and Roger get their time to shine. I can't think of the name. It was the episode before Wilmington. Sorry guys, I'm drawing a blank, but that whole entire episode did not have Jamie and Claire, and it was honestly, it was fine. We love Jamie and Claire. We love to see Clammy all the time, but it's nice to see that Bree and Roger can actually hold their own episodes as well, especially because the story is starting to focus more on them, and I think it's going to a little more in Season 5 as well. But before we get into Season 5, let us talk about Episode 12, which was called... I'm drawing blanks today. Providence. Sorry. So this episode, we focused, like I said, a lot on Bree and Roger. We also got to see Fergus and Marsley, and they... Oh my god, this has to be one of the best plots written for them this entire season, because we've hardly gotten to see them. So yeah, big moments in the episode. Bree wants to see Bonnet because she is informed by Lord John that he is captured. She wants to see him because she thinks if she goes to him and tries to make peace, that she herself will feel better. She read Jamie's letter, and we learned that the contents were Jamie telling her not to seek revenge. It's best for her soul not to kill him. So she has taken his advice, and she just wants to speak to Bonnet and basically forgive him, which I could not do. So I credit Bree for being brave and strong, honestly. Honestly, this episode, I think, was one of Sophie's best. She hit this episode out of the park. And I'm going to get into one of the biggest scenes that happened. She goes to meet Bonnet in the prison. She's back in Wilmington, which is unfortunately a bad memory for her. But she's just getting through it. She's soldiering on. And she goes to see him in prison. He is, you know, the Class A jerk he is. But she tells him that despite what he did to her, she forgives him. And she's able to leave in that moment, but he, you know him, because she told him that she's pregnant with his child. He doesn't want her to go quite yet because he's he's determined to get into her head. But she tells him off in one of the best... This is honestly Sophie's best scene, I think. She tells him, like, you know what? I'm going to raise my child, and I'm going to raise them to be a good person while everybody forgets your name, everybody forgets who you are, but my child will live on and be a good person. I just... sorry, I can't just... She hit that scene out of the park. I am just in awe. Sophie has grown so much with the show, and Bree herself even, just to see this development, this whole character growth, it's just incredible. And I've read about all these scenes and events that happen, but I just couldn't entirely 100% imagine it coming to life. But just to see it on the screen finally, and it's just so well done. But yeah, that is my opinion. I am loving what they're doing. But back to the scene. Yeah, she tells him that, and he actually gives her a gemstone, and he tells her to take care of the kid. I don't know what to make of that. I just don't. I don't want to feel any like towards Bonnet, because he is a despicable human being, no matter what he says or does. He has no remorse for any of his actions. He does not feel guilty for robbing Claire and Jamie. He does not feel bad about raping Bree. That's just who he is. So why he would give a care in the world about a child that he put into this world without permission, I don't know. I'm not going to try to get into his head. I just don't want to. But still, I don't know what Bree's gonna do with the gem. I guess she can use it for time travel in the future, because I think eventually she does go back, but I don't know if that's the gem she's gonna use. So while they're taking care of business at the prison, Murtaugh is also locked up in the same place. Fergus actually takes charge. He gathers all of the regulators, and they plan to set Murtaugh free. And Marsley is like, she's awesome in this episode. She's been supportive of Fergus, and she's like, okay, so we're going to rescue Murtaugh. He doesn't deserve to be in there. But we can't really stay in Wilmington if we're going to do that. So they pack up everything. They're ready to go. They set up a little fire trail for the prison, and they manage to gather Murtaugh. They run into Bree and Lord John. Murtaugh and Lord John still have their feelings towards each other, but they all work as a team and they get out of there. Lord John doesn't rat on them, and everything goes according to plan. Oh, except that because they dropped the keys on the floor, Bonnet was reaching for them, and he probably got out before the prison exploded. Yeah. I mean, I knew he was going to get out because he is supposed to be in the story for at least another, season or two. It's just still annoying. What can you do? But, hey, we still have our villain. Anyway, I just thought the whole sequence was amazing. Once Murtaugh and Fergus got out of there, they hid in the wagon. Marsley covered them up, and they just rode out of there, and I was like, yes. Because honestly, I didn't know how they were going to get Murtaugh out of there. I was just thinking, season 1 flashback, send in the cattle. There's cattle in America. But I like how they handled this scene. It was so well done. Because in the book, there was no rescue mission for Murtaugh. I don't remember why they were planning to blow up the prison in the book. I really don't know the reason, but putting Murtaugh in that I thought was brilliant. That was really clever. They are finding great ways to put his character into all these plot lines, and honestly, this episode was just spot on for the writers, I think. Unfortunately, with Roger, yeah, I don't hate him as much as I hate Bonnet, but I'm trying to word this as carefully as I can, because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. Roger does have a big heart. He has been using it, but his mind doesn't like his big heart. And he can't stand that he makes all of these choices out of love and care. Which, hey, what can you do? That's who you are. And his arc in this episode is really a lot darker than I thought it was going to be, mostly because of what's going on around him. But yeah, we picked up where he was being beaten up by the Mohawk, and he's quickly put to work despite being injured. And he is very good at being offensive to them, and he doesn't really know how to adapt to their culture. And he does end up getting in trouble and thrown into a punishment hut of sorts. And, I mean, there is at least one character that does like him. I am afraid I'm going to say her name wrong. It's, Joyen? Something like that. And she's more sympathetic towards him. She actually speaks French, and so does he. So they're able to communicate better that way. And she actually has a child with her. We don't know who the father is, but, like, you can tell that it's an illegitimate child of sorts. But baby was so cute. Oh no, it's gonna make me sad, because just thinking about what happens at the end. So yeah, he's in the punishment hut because he is not favored by everybody else. And he meets Father Alexander Farragut. I know I said that wrong, but I think you have to say it with an accent to say it right. But yeah, he's a father. He's in trouble because not because he was in love with, I'm going to say this name wrong every time, I'm sorry, Joyen. He loved her. They had a child together. That was the child. And, like, the Mohawk were okay with that because he had come to their camp to help them convert to his religion. And everything was okay up until the point where he didn't want to baptize the child. And he feels it's because he has sinned, he has gone against his, like, vows and all of that. Which, I guess because it was an illegitimate child, and he was afraid he was going to condemn the child to hell if he baptized it. But unfortunately, the Mohawk didn't understand that, and they threw him in the hut, and now he's a prisoner. So yeah, unfortunate circumstances. But he and Roger kind of befriend each other. They talk about all these things, and unfortunately Roger does get a glimpse of what the Mohawk do to him. They cut off his ear, which that was not necessary. But Roger's trying to help him. He takes care of the wound and he tries to pray for him. But Roger also has a plan to escape the hut. He's found like a little wooden bowl or something to dig a hole under the hut. And he wants the father to try to escape with him. But the father just feels like, you know, I have sinned. This is what I deserve. And Roger is trying to explain to him, like he tells his story. And Roger actually does explain about the moment when he was at the Stones. He wanted to go back, but he hesitated because he still loves Bree. Aw. Which is nice. And he says that everything that he's been through, he's learned a lesson, he's a changed man, and like in my head in this moment I was going, yes, yes. And then Roger says, I've learned that you're supposed to look out for yourself. You, yourself, and you. I thought he was on the right track. But it's his way of convincing the father, like, don't go through this punishment. Try to live your life. You can even try to take your girl with you, your baby. Like, find a home. But I just, ugh. Roger, like, every time you think he has hit the target. The target is like way off. Way off. And it's just frustrating. Because I want to like his character, don't get me wrong. I want to, but he's driving me crazy. Anyway, so he does convince the father for a short time to help him escape, like he even helps dig the hole. But by morning, they've hardly dug the hole, and the father has just decided to give up. So he's just going to go along with whatever punishment they have for him. Roger thinks he's a fool for doing that. But Roger decides, I'm just going to try to escape on my own. So once they take Father Alexander away, Roger actually does manage to escape. And he's running. He's actually almost out of there. But he hears the screams. The agonizing screams. And he's like, don't go back, you idiot. Don't go back. But finally, his big heart wins. And he goes back. He sees that Father Alexander is being burnt at the stake. Slowly, not like a big flame yet. It's kind of supposed to be a slow, agonizing death. And Roger can see how much he's suffering. So Roger actually sacrifices himself. He runs into the camp. Now they all know that he's out. He grabs a barrel of alcohol, like I'm assuming whiskey. He throws it at the pyre, and the pyre just goes up in flames. This isn't funny. This is not funny, but I didn't know what Roger's intentions were when he threw that barrel. And then when I saw the flames go up, I was like, Roger, what did you do? But then I realized he's just making the death faster for him. So that was not my impression at first, which I'm glad that that was what was intended. Unfortunate that it had to happen, but I was just glad that Roger didn't just screw up a rescue mission or something. That was just my first impression. But anyway, this scene is really brutal because, like, Joyenne is watching as her love is being burned alive. And she's holding her baby, and she chooses to put the baby down, and she walks right into the flames, and she holds on to him, and she lets herself be burned. And the guy who was in charge of Roger, I'm gonna mispronounce his name too, I'm sure, Keharaton, he has not liked Roger this whole time. But he actually really loved Yojen and Joyenne. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right. He loves her, and then he sees her sacrifice herself for this man, and he's just broken. He holds the baby, and I was legitimately afraid of what he was going to do to the baby. Thankfully, he was just holding on to the baby and crying over the love of his life. So, like, at least we see he does have a heart. We actually saw a lot of people have heart in this episode, which, that was awesome. But that scene was just so dark and so sad. Like, Roger, in a way, redeemed himself. He still thinks he's an idiot, but hey, at least you're gonna die whole and good-hearted, right? Not that he's gonna die, but I'm just saying that's what he's probably thinking. But yeah. Roger is still not 100% there in my book, but he tried. I'll give him that. And I think he's going to eventually get there. Maybe not by the end of season 4, but probably season 5, because I think he starts finding more of a purpose, and he starts learning things, so yeah, we'll see. But overall, this episode was so good. I just am in awe, like I said, of everyone getting a great plot line. We didn't see Jamie and Claire too much, but that shows that they have built this family that we all love. Like, we care about these people. And in a way, that's a gift to us, right? Jamie and Claire have made this family, and now they can take the reins when Claire and Jamie don't have to. So I think it's great. Yeah, this episode just amazing. And now, I am sad to announce we have one more episode. I am looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very interested to see how they handle it. I don't know if it's going to be more than an hour. I hope it is, because they have a lot of ground to cover, I have read. And it looks like from the trailer they have a lot of ground to cover. So we'll see. I hope it's at least like an hour and a half. I think that would be the best option. We'll see. But I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to Bree having the baby. She cares so much about the kid. It's so sweet. Just everyone is awesome. Except Roger. But he'll get there. Oh, and Bonnet. He's not awesome. He never will be. Let's make that clear. But yeah. And also, one line that I loved from Bree. She loves Lord John. Like, not love, but she is impressed by him, as all of us are. And she says the quote that all of us can honestly say, "It is impossible not to like you." Yep. Nope, that speaks for everybody. Honestly, Lord John is just, he's hardly been in the season, but every episode he's in, he shines. Alright, guys. Season finale next week. Man, I'm not ready. Outlander again, no. But, we just gotta go through it. But we will have season 5. We can be comforted to know that. And there should be season 6. And hopefully they will do the rest of the series, because I'm gonna be so mad at Stars if they don't. Let's just put it that way. Alright, guys, tell me what you guys thought of the episode. Did you enjoy seeing that rescue mission? That was awesome. What did you guys think about Bree and Bonnet's scene? I thought Sophie nailed that scene. It was brilliant. Alright, guys. I will see you next week for the season finale of Outlander. Goodbye and good night.